All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So today's lesson, if you notice at your paper, it's pretty short. All right. It's a small worksheet, but the thing is, it's not about the how much you got to write down. It's about listening to what I got to tell you. Okay. There was a lot of discussion in class, and if you just fast forward, some of that just to get the notes down, you're really going to lose out on this lesson because not only does it apply to economics, it applies to everyday life. Okay, so you really should just listen to this whole video because again, it's a short one. It really is a short one, and it's important stuff. Okay, so here is your warm up picture. Okay. Now, before I begin, again, if you did not hear, if you were fast forwarding the intro part, go back and listen to it. Again, it's you only missed a minute. Go back and listen to that minute because again, it is important. Okay. So for the warm up, here's the picture. The question I'm asking you is this: when you make decisions, whether they're small or big, which side do you usually go with when you make your decision? Do you go based off your feelings, your that gut feeling you have inside you sometimes, you know what I'm talking about? Do you base off your decisions off that? Or do you think about it, logic and things like that? You know, you're not rash, you just jump, you don't just jump into it. You think about, maybe I shouldn't do this because this, and this. Maybe I should do it because of this and this, but you really think about it. Or do you again use your heart, use your gut feeling, your emotions to make your decisions? Now, like I said in class, I better not read, oh, I use 50-50. Don't lie. Don't lie. Okay? You lean one way or the other. Okay? Maybe not too much on one side or the other, but still you're leaning more one side than the other. Which one is it? And tell me, why do you choose that? Why do you know, listen to your brain? Or why do you listen to your gut? Explain why. Okay. So think about it, write your response, pause the video because we're moving on in three, two, one. So I always started the classes like this. Have you ever made a decision to do something? You were doing it, whatever it may have been, and you thought to yourself, oh, why did I choose to do this? Why didn't I choose to do something else? You ever done that? Right? That is opportunity cost. Okay. Now, there's a difference between a trade off and an opportunity cost. A trade off is, let's say you're going to go spend time with some family, right? And you're going to be there for 5 hours. Now, when you choose one thing, all the other things that you gave up to do for those 5 hours, you sacrifice for, those other things you sacrifice, that is a trade off. So it's all the other things that you could have done during that time. Now, the thing is, it has to be realistic. It can't be like, oh, I was going to solve cancer. No, you weren't. In 5 hours, no, you weren't. You know, I was going to go I was going to go to New York. It takes more than 5 hours to get to New York, you know. So it has to be realistic things like, for 5 hours, I could have been sleeping, I could have been playing video games, I could have, worked on a car, you know, that's more realistic, than I could have gone to the moon. No, you couldn't. No, no. Okay. Now, an opportunity cost, that's the potential benefits that a business, a investor, or an individual uh, consumer misses out on when they choose something. So it's that thing when you go, oh, why did I spend all this time, 5 hours with these family members? I could have been at home playing video games. that thing you chose as like of all the other options you could have done, that top one, that's the opportunity cost. That's what you're saying. If I didn't do this, spend time with the family, I would have been doing this. And again, of all those options you could have done that we talked about, you chose playing video games. That's the top one. That's the opportunity cost. Okay. So again, the thing is, there are some silver linings to this, you know. So let's say um, you go to the movies, right? You pay for your ticket, you get your popcorn, your soda, your snacks, right? You go inside the theater and you sit down to watch it. Okay, right? Watch the movie. Now, during that time when you're in the theater, right? Movies going on, so that, are you going to be reading a book? No, right? Especially if you didn't bring one, you're not going to read a book. Okay. Now, that's the thing. Should you have been reading a book? You may have to use a book to get some work done and things like that, some classwork. But since you're at the movie theaters, you're not going to read the book. Now, the silver lining I was talking about is sometimes when you make a decision, and let's say the movie sucks, you're like, oh my god, this thing's horrible. It's 3 hours long. Sometimes there is a silver lining, and that's like great examples like this. While you're in the movie theater, are you going to be buying things online with your phone? Chances are no, you're not. You know, you're probably going to, if anything, you're probably going to fall asleep if you don't want to like to watch the movie anymore. You're probably going to fall asleep. But are you spending money? No. And that's a good thing. You shouldn't be spending too much money, especially if you don't have enough, you know? So there is sometimes even a bad decision, there is a silver lining in it somewhere. Now, here's the thing though. This is where I'm really adamant that you guys pay attention and really listen. To properly evaluate opportunity costs, the costs and benefits of every option available has to be considered and weighed against the others. Meaning, you got to think, what if I do this? You know, but what if I do that? What are the good things, the bad things that could happen during that time? So, like I said in class, if you go, oh, should I go to the party or should I stay home and play games? Well, if I go to that party, I'm going to see some friends. I'm going to have fun. And if that's all you could think of, you're just looking at the top level, superficial stuff. I'm going to have fun. You know, that's not really digging deep. You have to look at the ramifications of your decision and what echoes afterwards. Okay. Um, there's a great example of this in a childhood book called If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. You know, because if you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to want milk. And if he can't drink milk from the cup, so he's going to need a straw. And when he finishes the milk, he's going to see, like, oh, do I have a milk mustache? You know, so he's going to ask for a napkin. And then he's going to see, did he get all the milk off? So he's going to need a mirror. And when he looks in the mirror, he's going to be like, oh, my hair is too long. I need scissors. So there's an echo on that. So let's say you go hang out with your friends at a party, right? And you're like, you tell yourself, oh, I should do that because I'm going to have fun. Well, let's say you go to that party and there's a friend there who does some stupid things and they can't take care of themselves anymore. They're not in their right frame of mind. Now, you're a good friend. You're not going to let them drive home, right? You're not going to let them go home with some total stranger, right? Now what? Now you have to babysit them. You have to babysit them. And again, if they showed up in their car, you're not going to let them drive home. You're probably going to have to take them home, you know? So let's say you take them home, drop them off, make sure they get inside, and you go home. But what might happen to your car on the way home? Might run out of gas, might break down. And then what are you going to do? So see, that's what I mean. If you just look at the surface discussion about like, oh well, I'm gonna have fun, you're not looking at the ramifications of what possibly could happen. Okay, the things that are more likely to happen. Okay, that's what I'm talking about in that section. Here's the other thing too. The evaluation of choices and opportunity costs is subjective, meaning it's not universal. Okay. You're going to feel differently about certain things than other people. A great example of this is especially in class with me. When I'm trying to go over this with you guys, and you guys get on your phones and you go on like TikTok, you texting your friends. To you, that time on TikTok and texting your friends is more valuable than anything. But is that stuff valuable to me? No, right? Because I'm trying to teach you something. I'm older. I have experience. I've experienced life basically almost 3 times as much as you guys, you know? So I know this stuff is going to help you if you listen. So I'm like, TikTok and all that other stuff, texting your friends, that can wait. The value to me is that that stuff is nothing. This is more important because this is everyday life stuff. So you see what I mean? And again, if you like fast forward through all this stuff, you're proving my point. Exactly. You're just seeing this as like I'm just trying to get this stuff done and I don't care what he's talking about. I don't care what he's lecturing about. I just want to get this stuff done and be like, okay, I did it. When you're not really learning, and that's what I'm trying to do. Because again, my value of learning, trying to teach you, is higher than whatever you think it, TikTok and messaging your friends is. Okay, that's what I mean by subjective. All right. So basically that's it for this worksheet. Now, here's the thing. I gave you guys another worksheet to get done. Okay. Give me a second. So here's the worksheet I gave you guys. You should have it. If you don't, you're going to need to get this from me. All right. Next time you see me. So what you're going to do is, and again, if you were not paying attention to the video, you need to go back and watch that. Okay. So I'm going to do the first one partly with you guys. I'm going to use some answers that we used in class. Okay. So basically, it's like this. You're going to write down the trade offs. You're going to write down 3 trade offs and an opportunity cost. And again, if you were not paying attention or you were just fast forwarding, you need to go back and listen to that, or else your answer is not going to make any sense and I'm going to mark it all wrong. Okay. Because again, if it doesn't make sense, or if I can't read your handwriting because you were just trying to write down whatever, you're going to be wrong. Okay. And remember, this grading period is short. Next week is the end. So unless you want to stay behind and do more work, then by all means, do what you want to do. But I want you to get it done right the first time. So you need to pay attention. You need, again, if you weren't listening, to go back. So here's the activity: working 8 hours this Saturday. Now, remember, I told you the trade offs are things that are realistic and what you would probably do. Now, I asked this in class: what would you guys do for 8 hours on Saturday? More than likely. Number one thing I got was sleep. So you to put that down on your paper for number one. Another thing I asked students, okay, so besides sleep and working, what other things could you do for 8 hours? Students said playing video games. Yeah, okay, I can see that. You know, and the last one students said was like cleaning. cleaning their room, washing their clothes, whatever it may have been. Okay. So I'm like, okay, those are good. Those are good. Now, what you're going to do on the opportunity cost is you're going to pick one of those three. And if you're like, well, if I didn't, if I had to work 8 hours and I didn't want to do that, I would probably be doing which one of these three. You're going to tell me which one of those three you would be doing and why. Why would you do that? Why would you say I would play video games? Explain why. Okay. Um, the next one on the bottom, if you notice, it says scrolling through social media or watching your TV shows for 2 hours after school today. So, really, again, realistic, what other things could you do after school for 2 hours? And you're going to write one thing, another thing, and a third thing. And once you write those three things, of those three things, which one seems like more logical? Like, I would probably be doing this. Now, if you notice again, because again, students in class were not really paying attention, it says on their activity, scrolling through social media. Social media means TikToks, means Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. That's social media. So I should not be reading on one, two, or three, you saying I would be going through TikTok. You know, I would be watching YouTube. YouTube is basically your guys' TV. So you should not be putting that stuff down. Okay? You need to read what it says and respond. And again, has to be uh, legitimate. It can't be something, science fiction. Oh, I would go to LA in 2 hours. You can't go to LA in 2 hours. Okay? No, that's not going to happen. I would get on my private jet and go that. You don't have a private jet. So stop living in fantasy land and write down realistic answers. Because again, the reason I'm doing this is because again, I've seen it in class, people just writing down whatever and just trying to get this work done. And again, doing it wrong. I don't want that for you. But again, I can't be there where you're at and looking over your shoulder and telling you, yeah, that's not going to work. I can't do that. And only you can be listening to this video, you know. And again, if you're just skipping through, you're only hurting yourself. Okay. Because I said my piece. And if you get your paper back and I scratch out every single thing wrong, I don't want to hear you cry and say, well, why'd you do that for? I wrote down, and I'm going to be like, hey, did you listen to the video? No. I explained everything on there. You didn't follow the directions because you chose not to listen. So, with that being said, guys, that's it for this lesson. So be sure you get not only that first worksheet done, but also this one. And again, if by chance I didn't give it to you or you lost or whatever, come see me when you come back to school, come back to class, and I will give you another one. Okay. All right. So you guys take care, you be safe, and I'll see you guys later. Okay.